cold rain falls over Willow Creek, drumming softly on cracked asphalt. The Caldwell home, once alive with laughter and Sunday dinners, now stands half empty, its windows fogged with breath and memory. Inside, shadows move like ghosts between stacked boxes. Old photo frames lie face down on the counter. A single lamp flickers, casting warm light on walls stained by time. Outside, officers in raincoats load the last of the furniture into a truck. The engine hums low, steady, final. Through the thin curtains, an elderly man presses his hand to the glass, his reflection blending with the dark. A woman beside him clutches a folded shawl, the pattern faded from years of washing and waiting. Thunder murmurs over the rooftops. The lock clicks. The home exhales one last breath. Hours later, fog curls around a lonely bus station at the edge of town. A man steps off the last bus, coat sharp, shoes polished, eyes heavy. The streetlights buzz as he walks, suitcase in hand, through puddles reflecting the town he left behind. Every storefront he passes feels smaller, quieter, older. Neon signs flicker like fading memories. When he reaches the old neighborhood, the night feels heavier. The house is there, dark, vacant, the porch sagging under rain. The gate squeals open as if recognizing him. He pauses on the steps, fingertips brushing the damp railing. The smell of wet wood and rust fills the air. In the silence, guilt settles like fog. Inside, the house breathes in echoes. Dust dances through narrow beams of moonlight. The air tastes like ash and nostalgia. Footprints trail across the wooden floor where a rug once lay. A single chair remains in the corner, its cushion indented, still holding shape from the last person who sat there. On the wall, faint rectangles mark where photographs once hung. The man walks through each room slowly, his hand grazing the peeling paint. Somewhere in the distance, wind hums through a broken window, whispering through empty frames. The sound carries fragments of memory, laughter, argument, lullaby, blurring into one long ache. He stops by the old fireplace. Something in the wall catches his eye, a loose brick, chipped at the corner. When it slides free, a small metal box tumbles out, landing softly in dust. He kneels. His reflection bends in its tarnished surface. Inside the box, aged letters, a faded photograph of young parents dancing barefoot on a kitchen floor, a folded note scrawled in trembling ink. The letters tell of a struggle to keep their home alive, months of sacrifice hidden in silence. Each word carries love disguised as duty, pride disguised as pain. The man closes his eyes. The sound of rain returns, gentler now, almost forgiving. Dawn seeps through the clouds, washing the town in pale gold. Outside a roadside motel, two elders sit wrapped in a shared blanket. The world around them hums quietly. Vending machines, passing trucks, birds waking on the wire. A car pulls in, headlights dimming as the engine fades. A figure steps out, carrying the metal box, shoulders low but determined. He kneels beside them, and for a moment everything stands still. The years of silence, the unspoken apologies, the distance. The light shifts, landing gently on their faces, softening the years etched there. As the three of them rise, the first beam of sun spills across the wet pavement, painting it gold. In that glow, the shape of forgiveness forms, fragile, real, enduring. The following days bleed together beneath a pale, overcast sky. The family moves through motel corridors lined with peeling wallpaper and the scent of rain-damp carpet. Meals are quiet, the hum of a vending machine fills the silence. The son spends hours on his phone, calls unanswered, messages sent into static, bills, documents, signatures blur beneath the harsh glow of a desk lamp. Outside, the storm returns. Water races along the window pane, reflecting his face, tired, determined, afraid. Each drop feels like time slipping away. In another room, the mother prays softly, hands clasped around a worn photograph. The father coughs, each sound echoing through the thin walls like a reminder of fragility. The camera lingers on their faces, three people separated by shame, connected by endurance. Morning arrives, gray and thin but steady. At a diner window, the son sketches figures in a notebook, numbers, addresses, a rough map of redemption. Outside, workers unload lumber from a truck, laughter breaking the stillness. He watches them, hands calloused, movements sure, and a thought sparks. The next scenes unfold in fragments, old contacts being called. An envelope of cash slid across a counter. A realtor's office, blueprints pinned to a wall. The motel key dropped into a manager's hand, each frame tighter, faster, momentum building. By dusk, he stands once again before the abandoned home. The door opens not with despair this time, but resolve. Dust and silence greet him like an unfinished promise. He exhales, sets down his tools, and begins. Weeks pass. Rain gives way to sunlight, but the work grows heavier. Paint peels faster than he can scrape it. Leaks widen in the roof. A loan falls through. The phone goes silent again. The father grows weaker, the mother quieter. In one shot, a hammer slips from his hand, blood smears across wood, staining it deep. He stares at it, jaw tight, shoulders trembling. The camera follows as he steps outside, collapsing against the wall of the half-restored home. The world around him dims, the sound of wind, of passing cars, of hope, fading into stillness. Then, from a window upstairs, a thin curtain moves. A faint beam of light touches his face. Somewhere inside, the mother hums a tune from years ago. It's enough to make him rise again. Time compresses into motion, hands sanding wood, nails driven in rhythm, light spilling through repaired windows, wallpaper rolled, old photographs returned to the walls. Laughter, faint but real, ripples through the rooms as neighbors stop by to help. A young boy from down the street brings paint. A mechanic drops off tools. The town, once distant, begins to remember them. Shots alternate between the rebuilding house and the recovering father, breathing steadier, watching from a chair outside. Sunlight deepens, shadows shorten. The sun steps back, covered in dust and sweat, as the camera pans up to reveal the new roof gleaming under the open sky. The house stands again, scarred but standing, like the people who built it. Evening. The street is quiet, washed in amber light. Curtains ripple gently through open windows. Inside the restored home, the mother sets a framed photo on the mantel, their younger selves smiling in front of this very house. The father sits in his old chair, the one saved from the moving truck, watching the glow of the setting sun. The sun lingers by the doorway, his reflection caught in the polished floorboards. He closes his eyes, exhales. Outside, children ride bicycles down the lane. Laughter carries through the breeze. The house hums with warmth again. Voices, footsteps, the rhythm of belonging. As the camera pulls back, light floods the windows, spilling into the street like memory reborn. The roof gleams beneath the last traces of daylight, a quiet monument to what was lost and found again. Days turn to weeks, and color seeps back into the frame. Morning light spills through the kitchen window, touching everything with quiet grace. Fresh paint, folded curtains, a table newly set. The mother hums while arranging flowers from the yard. Their petals tremble in a soft breeze. The father, thinner but stronger, moves slowly through the rooms, his fingertips grazing the smooth banister. Each touch feels like a prayer. Outside, the sun paints the front door deep blue, the same color it once was when he was a boy. The final stroke lands steady and sure. As he steps back, sunlight breaks through the clouds, painting the porch in gold. For the first time in a long while, the air feels clean. The house, alive again, breathes. Night falls. Inside, the family gathers around the old fireplace. The room glows amber from a single lamp and the gentle crackle of embers. The son places the small metal box, the one found behind the brick, on the coffee table. Dust dances through the warm air as he opens it. The contents are rearranged carefully. Photographs, letters, the folded mortgage note. The mother traces the edge of a photograph. The father rests his palm over the letters. No words pass between them, but their eyes speak entire chapters. The son adds one final item, a new photograph. Him, his parents, the house reborn behind them. He closes the lid. The camera lingers on the box as the firelight flickers across its surface, turning the tin into something sacred. A week later, a gentle breeze carries the smell of morning rain. On the porch, a single letter rests beside a steaming cup of coffee. The father sits quietly, watching sunlight drip through the leaves. His handwriting moves slowly, deliberate, as if each stroke weighs a lifetime. Inside, the mother watches from the window, soft smile, eyes glassy. The son loads tools into the trunk of his car. He's heading back to rebuild his own life now, though this time with something steadier in him. The letter remains on the porch rail, ink glistening. The camera pans over it. For when you forget who you are, remember where you began. Rain begins again. Light, forgiving, blurring the ink but not the meaning. Evening descends in shades of rose and violet. Lanterns glow softly along the street. Neighbors wave as they pass. The house stands centered in frame. Fresh paint, clean windows, a small garden blooming near the steps. The son ties a thin silver bracelet around his wrist, then another around his father's. Their hands meet briefly, firm, understanding. The mother joins them, resting her hand over theirs. The bracelets glint in the fading light, simple, unbroken circles, a symbol of something mended, not erased. As the wind passes through the trees, the sound feels like a sigh of relief, gentle, endless, true. The horizon burns with gold. Birdsong rises softly from the fields beyond the town. Inside the Caldwell home, sunlight floods the hallway, tracing its way through open doors, touching photographs, polished floors, and empty mugs on the counter. The father sits by the window, wrapped in a blanket, his eyes lifted to the dawn. On the porch, the son watches the first truck drive past, carrying new families into the waking day. The mother steps out, cups of coffee in hand, the steam curling into the morning air. They stand together, watching the light climb higher, washing over the home that once broke and now breathes again. As the camera drifts upward, the house glows from within, a beacon of quiet resilience, framed by a sky reborn. The final shot lingers on the roofline, the silver bracelets catching sunlight, fade to white. Morning light filters through the tall windows of a downtown office. The sun stands in a crisp shirt, eyes scanning the city skyline reflected in the glass. Colleagues pass behind him, their voices low, movements brisk. He adjusts his tie, a gesture of quiet readiness, not pride. On his desk sits a small photo of the rebuilt house, its blue door gleaming in sunlight. He runs a thumb across it before opening a new file. Community Reinvestment Initiative. The hum of printers, the shuffle of paper, the steady beat of renewal. Outside, the city stirs, construction cranes swing. People hurry past, life builds forward. He watches for a moment longer, then begins to type. Late afternoon. Back at the house, the mailbox creaks open. The mother retrieves a single envelope, the seal embossed in gold. She opens it slowly, sunlight catching on her trembling hands. Inside, a letter from the city council stamped and signed, recognition of restoration and service. Tears blur the ink as she places it beside the fireplace, right next to the memory box. In the background, the father sits near the window, humming faintly, unaware yet of the honor his family has earned. The camera lingers on the letter, as wind from the open door lifts one corner, fluttering it gently, like applause in silence. Evening spreads across Willow Creek, soft and gold. The street fills with neighbors carrying dishes, lanterns and music. Children chase bubbles across the wet pavement. Elders lean on canes, smiling at the restored house, glowing at the end of the lane. A table stretches from porch to sidewalk. Plates, laughter, candles swaying in the breeze. The son helps an elderly neighbor find a seat. The mother ladles soup for a child she's never met. The father, wrapped in a scarf, sits quietly at the head of the table, pride glimmering in his tired eyes. As dusk deepens, lanterns lift into the air, floating, shimmering, rising like small suns against the indigo sky. The camera pans upward, following them until the house becomes a small glowing heartbeat below. A modest town hall. A month later, folding chairs line the room. A banner reads Local Heroes of Renewal. The son stands beside his mother, his father's empty chair placed between them, a quiet symbol of presence and absence entwined. Officials shake hands, flashbulbs pop. The applause is polite at first, then grows warmer, fuller, turning into something human, not ceremonial. The mother accepts the plaque. Her eyes glisten as she glances toward the empty chair, lips trembling into a soft, private smile. Outside, rain begins to fall again, gentle, rhythmic, almost celebratory. Through the glass doors the droplets glimmer under streetlight, like small stars returning to earth. Night. Back home, the house is still. The award rests on the mantel beside the memory box, its polished surface catching faint reflections of candlelight. The empty chair remains by the window, facing the dark horizon. The mother lays a folded blanket over it, her hand resting there a moment too long. From the porch the son watches the rain begin again, steady, cleansing. He closes his eyes, breathes deep, and for the first time doesn't feel the ache of loss, only gratitude. The camera slowly pulls back through the window, into the rain, framing the chair softly in the center of the glowing room. The flickering light dances over its contours, solid, waiting, eternal. Winter descends softly over Willow Creek. Frost coats the picket fences. Breath hangs in the morning air. Inside the Caldwell home, the fireplace glows steady and low. The sun decorates the mantel with pine branches and photographs, his motions calm, unhurried. The mother hums an old carol while stirring a pot on the stove, steam rising, catching the golden light. Outside, snow begins to fall, muffling every sound but the ticking clock. The camera glides past the window, two figures sharing quiet companionship, the house wrapped in warmth against the world's cold. It feels, for the first time, like peace, night. A pale moon glows through sheer curtains. The father sleeps in his chair by the window, blanket drawn up, his breathing faint but even. The son works nearby, sketching at the table, eyes lifting every few minutes in gentle watchfulness. When dawn approaches, the fire has burned down to soft embers. The son looks up, and stillness fills the frame. The camera holds the moment, a hand resting open, a clock stilled mid-tick, a world pausing between heartbeats. Outside, the first snowbird lands on the railing, feathers puffed against the cold. Light slowly spreads through the room, warm and tender. The passing feels less like loss, more like release. Days later, sunlight pours through uncovered windows. The house is quiet, but not empty. Echoes of life linger in every room. The son moves slowly, gathering his father's tools, setting them on the bench in careful rows. Dust motes drift in the beam of light that crosses his face. He stops at the window where the chair remains. The view outside, icy, serene, eternal. He places a fresh mug of coffee on the sill, the steam curling upward like memory. Then he stands motionless as the camera circles around him, capturing reflection upon reflection, the man he has become, and the man who shaped him. The shot fades on his quiet exhale, the sound of peace and remembrance entwined. Spring returns, birdsong fills the morning air. At a construction site on the edge of town, the sun oversees workers building small, colorful homes. Blueprints flap in the breeze, bearing the title Caldwell Community Trust. Children peek around fences, laughing as paint rollers flash across fresh boards. The same deep blue hue from his family's front door now covers door after door. Volunteers plant flowers, hang wind chimes, sweep porches. The camera pans across smiling faces, neighbors, elders, young couples, each one touched by the ripple of one rebuilt house. From above, the site glows in late sunlight like a constellation taking shape, a map of hope drawn by human hands. Early morning, the sun stands before the rebuilt community center, suit jacket folded over his arm, tie loosened. Behind him, families gather for the ribbon-cutting ceremony. Laughter spills across the courtyard. He looks toward the horizon, where the Caldwell house stands faintly visible through the trees, chimney smoke rising in the distance. A breeze carries the scent of wood and lilac. He closes his eyes briefly, whispering nothing, just breathing in the moment. As the camera rises, the crowd counts down. The ribbon flutters, then parts cleanly in sunlight. Applause swells, children cheer, confetti drifts through gold light, fade out on his face, peaceful, resolved as the town behind him hums with new life. Late afternoon sunlight stretches across the familiar road to Willow Creek. The sun drives slowly, windows down, the same route he once took with his father decades ago. The air is heavy with nostalgia, fields gold with wheat, the hum of cicadas, the steady rhythm of tires on gravel. He pulls up before the old Caldwell house. Its walls gleam freshly painted, garden alive again with color and sound. Wind chimes whisper under the porch eaves. He pauses at the gate, fingers tracing the wood grain, aged but enduring. The door creaks open as if welcoming him back home. Inside, silence feels sacred, full of echoes that no longer ache. A life once broken, now whole again. Morning dew glistens on every leaf. The mother kneels by the flower bed, tending to seedlings with wrinkled, patient hands. The son watches from the steps, coffee in hand. Smile quiet and steady. Petals unfurl as the sun warms the soil. Tulips, lavender and marigolds mingling in vivid bloom. A small robin hops nearby, unbothered by human nearness. Time slows, every gesture feels deliberate, eternal. He joins her silently, pressing his hands into the earth beside hers. They work side by side, no words needed, only the sound of wind through the trees, and the heartbeat of a home reborn. The attic glows with filtered sunlight through dust and cobwebs. The sun lifts an old wooden chest, its hinges squealing softly. Inside, faded photos, children's drawings, a tiny carved horse, his father's folded letters. He opens one, the paper trembling in his hands. It speaks of faith, of rebuilding, of love without end. Tears glint but do not fall. He returns each item carefully, then adds one more, a new photograph of the community homes, smiling faces beneath the sign Caldwell Trust. He seals the chest again, sliding it beneath the rafters. The lid closes gently, as if tucking away generations in gratitude. Evening settles softly. The mother sits in her chair near the window, the same one her husband once occupied. The golden hour light kisses her face, outlining every line with tenderness. She watches her son outside, greeting children, fixing a bicycle chain, laughing freely. Her lips curve into a faint smile, content, proud, eternal. For a moment, her reflection in the window aligns with his outside, past and present overlapping in gentle symmetry. The music of life hums beyond the glass, crickets, laughter, a train far away. Her eyes close, not from weariness but from peace. Night falls, alive with lanterns and laughter. The streets of Willow Creek glow in soft amber light, strings of bulbs weaving between rooftops. Children chase each other with sparklers. Elders sway to slow jazz beneath the trees. Food stalls line the square, sweet corn, lemonade, pies steaming in the cool air. The sun moves through the crowd, handshakes and hugs everywhere. Drummers gather, a small band begins to play. He looks up, fireworks bloom overhead, painting the sky in gold and violet. The camera pulls back slowly, capturing the whole town lit with joy, framed by distant hills. The music swells as the screen fades to black, not an ending, but a beginning reborn through grace and community. A single candle burns on the mantel. Its reflection trembles in the framed photograph of the Caldwell family. Young parents, 5 laughing children, a moment forever caught in summer light. The son stands before it, now older, calm. He places a sprig of lilac beside the frame, the same flower his mother once wore in her hair. Rain patters lightly outside, soft and rhythmic. On the table, 2 coffee mugs steam side by side. One untouched, one half empty. He doesn't speak. The silence says everything. Remembrance, gratitude. The circle unbroken. Late night. The room glows dimly from a desk lamp. The son sits with pen and paper, shoulders relaxed but eyes bright with memory. He writes slowly, deliberately. The words, though unseen, spill across the page in neat, steady lines. Moments flicker across the screen. His father teaching him to drive, fixing a roof in the rain, laughing under the porch light. He folds the paper, seals it in an envelope, and walks outside. The wind catches his hair as he tucks the letter beneath the roots of the oak tree where his father once rested. Above, stars shimmer faintly through drifting clouds, the sky wide, forgiving. Dawn. The sky bruises gray as wind gathers through the valley. Rain begins again, harder this time, insistent. The rebuilt homes stand firm, shutters rattling but unyielding. The sun runs through the streets, helping neighbors secure tarps, carrying children into doorways, laughter cutting through the storm's roar. Water rushes down the gutters, but no fear lingers here, only determination. Inside the community center, lanterns flicker. The townspeople huddle close, hands clasped, eyes steady. Through the storm's fury, the same blue doors hold strong, symbols of promise kept. The rain washes the streets clean, not broken, renewed. Morning after the storm, golden sunlight breaks through ragged clouds, scattering across wet rooftops. Puddles glimmer like mirrors reflecting fragments of sky. Children emerge, laughing barefoot, splashing through water. The sun steps outside, drenched but smiling as the townspeople open windows and wave to one another. He looks toward the horizon, the Caldwell house standing proud, roof intact, garden shimmering with dew. A rainbow arcs faintly overhead, its colors blurred but whole. The camera lingers on his face, serenity in motion, the light of endurance reborn. Twilight. The town rests in quiet harmony. The sun walks along the same road where it all began, slow, thoughtful, the setting sun painting his path in amber and rose. He passes children riding bikes, a couple holding hands, the hum of everyday joy filling the air. At the gate of his family home he pauses. Fireflies drift among the lilacs. He closes the gate gently, looks back once, then steps into the fading light. The camera rises, pulling wide. The town, the fields, the sky, everything bathed in gold. A soft breeze carries the echo of a promise kept. Fade to black.